Hello everyone from around the world, my name is Derek, and welcome to this episode of Creative Explorative. Today we're going to be looking at a subject that I find a lot of people have troubles with, and that's hands. Usually I see people drawing it like this. Pretty simple, very rounded, cartoonish. And they don't really like the way it looks because obviously it doesn't look like a real hand. So today I'm going to be showing you simple steps to draw a fairly perfect hand. Now today all you're going to need is a pencil, a Sharpie, and an eraser. Now this eraser is pretty dirty. You'll need a clean eraser, a nice white one. If you have a dirty eraser, simply take an X-Acto blade or a cardboard cutter and you just shave off the ends like this. Just like cutting an orange, or peeling an orange, I should say. Now obviously kids, get your parents to do this for you, and don't use scissors. It's messy, it can wreck your eraser, and you run a higher risk of cutting yourself. So without further ado, let's get to drawing. Okay, now that we have all of our drawing materials ready, let's get started. First, I want you to take a look at your own hand. We're just going to look at it. We're going to see what shapes we can make out of it. First shape obviously I see is a square. I see a little triangle on one side leading up to the thumb, and we got sausages for fingers. Mine are a little bit more lean sausages, more like hot dogs. But you get the picture. So to start off, I'm just going to make a line here for our wrist. Now don't try and make one line. Just sketch it in. We're not looking for anything too final. We're just mapping out our hand. So we've made our line for the wrist, and now we're going to start making our square. We're going to have the sides flare out a little bit, just like so, because a hand is not perfectly square, as you can see. You can look at the bones connecting your knuckles to your wrist. They're not straight, they flare out a little bit. So we're going to match that in our plan for our hand. Now, same thing up here, it's not a perfect straight line. See, it's got a curve to it. So we're going to do the same thing up here. You're basically drawing a mitten, or at least one part of it. Okay, now we got our, I guess what we would call our palm done. And now we're just going to draw in our knuckles. So we're just going to draw 4 circles, put them about halfway on the line, evenly spaced throughout. Now you gotta take a look at your fingers. Your fingers, sometimes people draw them like this. All basically uniform. That's not how fingers look, as you can see here. Your middle finger is the longest. Your index finger and your third finger, I don't know if there's an actual name for that. If there's an actual name for the third finger, let me know in the comment section below. But your third finger and your index finger are basically the same length. What's this? Let's see right that. Yeah, basically the same length. And your pinky finger, or at least my pinky finger, is about half the length of the middle finger. Now, to figure out how long should I draw my middle finger, just take a quick measurement, compare it to your hand. My middle finger is about the length of my palm. So, just gonna plan it out. Again, we're not looking for anything too exact. This is just an exercise. So we have my middle finger drawn, And now we're just going to draw in the third and index finger and the pinky finger just a little above the middle line. And you can see here they kind of mimic the shape that we made here, the line here. Just a little bit more exaggerated. Now let's put in the thumb. On the thumb here, we're just going to draw in where it comes out. So it comes in probably around a few quarters of the way down. And we're just going to put it in. Curves up. Comes to just above the knuckle of my index finger. Okay, so we have our fingers, our palm, knuckles, and our thumb lined out. So now we're going to figure out the joints. For that, we're just going to draw little circles. See, the pinky is, each finger has 2 joints. The thumb has 1. Well, technically 2. The one that connects it to your hand. So we're just going to draw those in. Just smaller circles, just so we know where they are. Pretty much evenly spaced around our digits. And there we go. We're getting to a pretty good hand here. Now we're just going to fill in the lines. Obviously the thumb has this skin connecting it. Right here. And when you get up to the knuckle, we're just going to draw a little bump on the outside. Because the knuckles, they do protrude. There's a lot of bone there. And see here where the flesh curls in, just going to mimic that to show which direction it goes. Now I'm leaving this line open because now we're going to draw on the nail. Create a half U shape, extend it a little bit, and then bring it down, kind of hopping over it a little bit. And do the same here. We're going to bump it out a little bit, show the knuckle. And just continue that up. Like that. Draw a U shape for our nail. Pop it out a little bit. And continue it down. Connect the 2 fingers together. We're just going to keep it going. Now I'm using very smooth, long, curvy lines, but you can stylize this however you want. I've seen hands like in a comic book, some hands are more like this, using straight edges. Oh, sorry, you can't see that. Let me just bring this up. More like this. That's a finger. They use this is just to give an idea of what you can do. So you can use really straight, rigid edges. Maybe you can make this all one line. It doesn't matter, as long as you got the shape down. You can draw a hand however you like it, just as long as it looks like a hand. Just gonna add that last nail in there. Put in that knuckle. Now on this side of the hand, see it kind of goes out a little bit. There's a lot of meat on this side of the hand. So we're just going to put that in there. It's looking pretty good. And this is where the Sharpie comes in. You can also use a more finer tip. I got one right here. I'm just using a bigger tip so it shows up better on your screen. But the technique is still the same. So we're just going to go over all this. Just tracing over our lines. And this is where you can make improvements on your little hand drawing. Maybe you think that a knuckle comes out a little bit too much. You can just change that, because it's not the final image, not until you put your permanent marker on it. Just connect that there. Okay, so now we got the outline of our hand done. And we're going to take our eraser with a nice clean tip, and we're just going to get rid of all this. Now I used a really dark pencil so it shows up better on the screen. So it's going to take a little bit more effort to erase, but not that much. This is just to show you guys the steps you can take to making a nice looking hand. There we go. Now, with our Sharpie again, we're just going to add in some details. We're going to add in little notches you see here on your knuckles where the fingers curl. So I usually like to add 3. One little one, a big one, and another little one. Just over our knuckles. And some really small ones for the pinky. So for the thumb, so add a little bit more folds to the skin. A little bit more of a fold there. You can see it's a little bit more stretchy there. See the line down there. We're just going to keep looking at our hands, seeing what sort of features are there. You don't want to put in too much detail though, otherwise you just lose the shape of the hand. I'm just going to add some little lines there, show that off. And I think it looks really nice. Just going to add some cuticles to the nails. I think that's what they're called, little white bits at the end. Never really knew exactly what they're called, but I'm pretty sure those are cuticles. But I don't work in nails. Add some little bumps to show the knuckles have shape. And there we go. I think we got a nice looking hand. Now this is a really detailed hand. I'd use this more for sketching. The Sharpie's just to show more on the screen. Now that's some more of a detailed hand. If you want to draw a really quick hand, say you're just planning out the shape of a character, or you don't really know what your hand's really going to look like, you just want to plan it out. Here's a nice little quick way to do it. I'm going to show you with my Sharpie. We're just going to do the same thing. We're going to draw our little mitten. Draw 2 lines out. Just connect it up with the thumb. And you're just drawing in the span of the fingers, where you want them to go. And that's really it. Let's do that one more time. Just draw a little curve. A little curved triangle for your thumb. And just the span of your fingers. Just like that. You're basically just drawing a mitten. Just like that. The best thing you can do to figure out how you can draw a hand is to just draw and use your own hand. Really look at the size comparison between the fingers, where the thumb ends, where the pinky is compared to the middle finger, how all the fingers compare to your palm. and just plan it out, shape by shape. Hands are very intricate things to draw. There's a lot of moving pieces. So you just gotta practice. I hope this helped you and that you enjoyed today's episode. So to the people around the world, I will see you later, guys. Hi everyone. Thanks for watching this week's episode of Creative Explorative. I invite you to follow me on social media. You can find me on Snapchat, Instagram, and Vine, all at Mr. Ricky Stevens. Or check out my official Facebook page, DVV Art&Design. Or just search facebook.com/dvvdesigner. There you can find all the updates on my artwork, my cosplay work, or anything I'm currently working on. And that's all for this episode, so please like, comment, and subscribe, or share the video if you like the exercise. So to the viewers around the world, I will see you later, guys.